What's going on, everybody? King Friday here, and today we're going to be talking about the topic that is critical to anybody that is in media and entertainment, and it is media asset management. And I'm here with Brian Scheffler from Quantum to talk to us a lot about media asset management. How's it going?
Doing great and glad to be here, Jordan.
Awesome. So, and you have a product very specific, near and dear to your heart called
Cat TV, yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us just a little bit, just briefly, about what media asset management is before we get into the specifics of Cat TV.
Yeah, sure. So media asset management is just a really easier way to search, find, tag, and track your media than using Windows Explorer or Finder. You know, it's a nice visual representation of your media to help you find and reuse the things you need.
That's awesome. So it's really about making your media more discoverable, more usable, more metadata friendly, if you will.
Exactly. You know, we believe that creative people should be doing creative things, and finding media is not a creative thing. At least it shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're wanting to help people to manage their media in a way that makes it transparent to them and saves them a lot of time.
Well, and I find that it's like, you know, there are a lot of editors, I mean, myself included sometimes, that it's like when you're in the heat of battle, it can be difficult to constrain yourself, to conform yourself to once you're putting all it's like, well, I've got it all safely on my hard drive. I'm just going to start and, I'll figure out the rest later. It's like, one of my coworkers, I said, well, when you're in the heat of battle, and she said, we're always in the heat of battle. And that's the exact same thing that, but it seems like media asset management is sort of the answer to be able to help you while you are in the heat of battle, but then also future-proof it to, if you need to reuse your assets in the future, this allows you to do that.
For sure. Nobody has more time to be taking on new tasks, so we don't want it to be some kind of difficult process that people will rebel against and not want to do.
Sure.
You organize your media the way you're already doing it. You can start editing right away as soon as your media is there. In the background, Cat TV is watching. It's finding that media, adding it to our database to make it searchable and trackable, and then other team members will be able to access it as well. Even if you don't necessarily need to search and find the media you just shot, it'll be available for other people. And
That's
then also,
awesome.
we can help you find your B-roll and things like that.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about what happens without a man. So, what are the types of challenges that people come through when you maybe don't have a man already set up?
Yeah, well, I can speak from personal experience because I was an editor and shooter before I started working with Cat TV. So I can speak from experience on that. But, just imagine it's 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
You're trying to finish a project, you got a tight deadline, and you can't find that last piece of media you need.
I'm having flashbacks.
You're searching external drives. You think, oh, wait, maybe I can find it in my email. You're like, oh, there's that one team member. She always knows where everything is, but she's not answering her call because she's sleeping. And here you are trying to find your product.
You've been spying on me? What's going on?
Exactly. That's why you need a man, because it's a much easier way to find the media you need to meet your deadlines.
That's awesome. And I think, again, that is sort of going to, sort of separate also from a growth perspective of anybody that is starting on their team, that it's like, if you're not able to recall that, that footage, especially in the future, it's like if marketing needs it, if another editor needs it. I've had projects where it's like, almost a year later, and we have to go back to that, and it needs to be like we never left. And then it's like, if I don't know where that footage directly is, or that exact bit where they said this one thing is, I'm going to be wasting days trying to go back there and find it.
Yeah, and the bosses, the higher ups, they see these videos online. They're going to like, oh, Joe explained this really good here. Find me that video, and you have to be able to find it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in plain terms, without having a media asset management system, you're wasting time and you're wasting effort as well.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So it sounds also like there might potentially be, when I sort of think about it, there might be some costs that not having a media asset management system you might incur. So tell us a little bit about what that might be.
Yeah, well, I think we've kind of hit on one, and that's lost time, right?
Yeah.
But another one can be more money, right? I mean, how many times have you not been able to find the shot you want and had to reshoot it, or maybe buy some more stock footage? We got stuck buying stock footage that I knew we had, but I couldn't find it. So that's an aspect of it. But then there's the storage aspect as well, because every time an editor makes their own copy of a file and puts it on the desktop or somewhere else, accounts. Now you have another copy that's taking up more storage, but also what's the most recent one? What's the one you should be using? So we have things like Final, use this one, you'll really use this one.
I do that all the time.
So I mean, there's human cost of time, and there's the cost of your storage, but really it's just your mindset, even of your organization, and the amount of brain power it takes to organize all this without a tool like CatDV.
Absolutely. So when do you think that, I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me, but I mean, even still, with all of the things that we just highlighted, there are probably still going to be people that say, I don't need one. When would you say is like, okay, you really need to invest in CatDV at this point? What types of clients is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think collaboration is really a main point of that. It's easy if you're working on your own to do what I did before and have everything called untitled project.
Yeah.
But now I'm out sick and someone else needs to finish my work. How is she going to find where that project is if it's not organized?
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it. But certainly, as you have multiple team members added that all need to work with this, maybe you have a social department now that needs access to this media. You're thinking about archiving and having multiple storage locations for your files.
Right.
Those are times to think about it. So I would say, to give you a shorter answer, you have 3 or more team members, or you start having thousands and thousands of assets. You can't manage that many assets with Windows Explorer or Finder, and those are some times to think about CatDV.
So it sounds like, I mean, everybody from the largest broadcaster to the smallest single person editor really should just invest in this. This should be the new way to think about it. It should not be, I just put my files in a folder.
Exactly. We have clients. Within the last couple of weeks, I've sold at least 3 to single people that had their own collections and they wanted CatDV to manage them, all the way up to the largest producers of video content that we see both on media and in the theaters.
Give people just a couple of the specifics of why CatDV, what CatDV specifically.
Yeah. So CatDV works with the tools you already work with. We have plugins for Premiere, for Resolve, for Final Cut that bring that CatDV interface directly into your editing tool, so you're not having to go somewhere else. We can do things like review and approval. We can help you manage different versions of media. We can do things like transcripts to be able to search against anything that was said. There's all those things that we can do to help you collaborate and work more effectively.
That's awesome. And I think that is sort of the litmus test for whatever your MAM is that it's like, if it's making things too complicated, or if it's taking too much of the the human element out of it to be able to really understand what is being said, what is being shot, what was shot, and is more of a hands-off approach. I think there has to be that happy medium, and I feel like CatDV does that amazingly.
For sure, yeah. We don't want any kind of heavy oversight required from an IT department, from an administrator. We want the tool to be really easy to use and to just work the way people work already.
Cool. So Brian, thank you so much for giving people just sort of a brief overview of what a MAM is. So I think we should probably start talking about the specifics of CatDV and the different versions, and what type of version is going to be right for each client as they go. So it's going to be a great conversation.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.